Hey everyone, on today's episode of the Mayor's Table, we're going to talk to you everything about Leadership San Juan, what it is, what it isn't, and why you as a community member should get involved. Hey everybody, welcome to the Mayor's Table. On today's episode, we have two guests with us who are a part of Leadership San Juan, and myself as somebody who's been a part of Leadership San Juan. I thought, what a great trio we would have here today to talk about the Leadership San Juan program, what it does, why it matters, the difference that it's making in our community, what is servant leadership, all those great things that come with being a part of the program. So with me today, I have Sunny Rodriguez.
Hello. Class
of 2024 of Leadership San Juan.
Best class ever.
Thank you. Right on cue. Good job, Sunny. Best class ever. And now Colby Gibson, class of 2025.
The real best class ever.
Oh, see, and I'm the class of 2012, and we were and will always be the best class. But there are some who had no class, which I love that joke, by the way. But we'll get to that in a second. But Leadership San Juan, I talk a lot about it with people throughout the community who I believe have an interest in seeing long-term success here. They're invested in the community. They want to see us get better at things. They want to be a part of the solution. They just want to be on the sideline complaining or telling people how they feel. They actually want to be a part of making this place better. But if you were to talk to folks, Colby, about what Leadership San Juan is, what would you tell them?
Sure. And I think that's a good question. I think you'd get a lot of different answers from anyone that's participated in Leadership San Juan, because it's not a leadership class, right? There's going to be a lot of leadership discussion and how you can be a good leader, but it doesn't teach you how to be a leader. It's really informational on the inner workings in San Juan County. So even if you've lived in San Juan County your entire life, you think you can't learn anything else about San Juan County, get ready for a ride, because you are.
No, it's very eye-opening in that way. That's a great point. It's not a John Maxwell leadership seminar. Right. It's something completely different than that. What would you say, Sunny?
Exactly what he said. It doesn't teach you how to be a leader. It's taking you into your community. Sometimes we get so stuck in our work area, our leadership area, and it takes us into the different areas. So it takes you into mental health, human services, criminal justice, business, education, and in the leaders in those areas and the issues and the concerns and what's going good and what's going on in those areas and the leaders in those areas. Mm-hmm. And you could see what's happening with them and learn from them and see how you can help them even if you aren't in that area. And it's a great program to be in.
It is. Yeah. Well, and I think when I was introduced to it, the city of Farmington at the time had an Inside Academy. So it was like this, it was basically kind of like Leadership San Juan, except it really focused just on the departments. It was a much shorter period, but we went out to the water and wastewater treatment plant. We went and met with chief of police, the chief of fire. I think it was a really interesting, I think we still have mugs and stuff to give away for people. We quit doing it, I think, must have been about 2013, 2014, I think the city said, we don't have any more resources to put towards that. So they cut it back. But that kind of got me engaged. And I was, at the time, I had joined the Chamber of Commerce. And so I had been doing some volunteering and working again with like-minded people who I saw as folks that wanted to see the city improve. And so many of them had been through Leadership San Juan. And I thought, well, we should give this a shot and see what it's about. But it's a 10-month program, right?
Sure is.
It kicks off in August, September. They do a retreat. They don't tell you where you're going.
No.
At least they didn't when I was there. They didn't tell you where you're going. Like I was like, what are we doing on this bus?
Sure.
But typically a class size of 30 people. Mm-hmm. We'll have applications. We can get up to 40, 45 applications. Just depends. We'd love to have bigger classes. That's always a benefit. But they take you on a retreat, and then they do what?
Well, at the retreat, you're exactly right. We do tell people where they're going now. Which
is like this big shadow thing before.
Right. However, Leadership San Juan's really good about not giving you too much information. We want some anticipation. but it's a great opportunity to learn about your classmates, right? So
that
when
retreat, yeah.
Absolutely, at the retreat. And so it's one of the best parts of Leadership San Juan. You get to know everybody. You're forced to be on a bus with them or a van with them. And
We don't want to scare you away from this by
No.
telling you the bus story up front.
it's a great experience. The bus was my favorite part of my class. So
Yeah.
don't let that scare you,
Don't let
but
it
it's a good
scare you.
opportunity to get to know everybody.
Sonny, what do you
Yeah.
think?
I loved the retreat. That part took me out of my comfort zone a lot, but it opened me up where I was expecting to, I was expecting to be taken out of my comfort zone, and then once you're taken out of your comfort zone, you retreat back to your comfort zone a lot. But after that, I was taken out and I stayed out, and I've continued to stay out, and I've been trying to stay out of my comfort zone, and leadership has helped me so much with that. And so the retreat was the beginning of that, and
That's
it's
a key.
been
It's a
great.
key, right? If you want to create camaraderie with a bunch of different kinds of people, pushing them into a place that they've never been before with people they don't know, and having them interact in ways that are very strategically designed for them to interact together, is going to create something, I think, it typically creates something special. What I came out of that, of course, is that the individuals who I was in that class with, we always have that experience together. And then now anybody else who's an alumni, we have also shared in that. So you're building this kind of brotherhood or sorority of sorts that's like, hey, we all did this thing, here we are, we're graduates of it, and then you've got your funny sayings like best class ever,
Right.
that you can always reflect back on. But leadership, to me, you cannot grow in this world if you're not challenged and pushed beyond your comfort zone. So I think that's a perfect example of it. And there's a lot of these topics that everybody comes in with some preconceived notions and ideas about, whether it's law enforcement, healthcare, mental health, education, small business, government. Everybody's got their own ideas about it, but now you get to come in and actually hear from the people who are involved in it here within San Juan County about what it is. And you get to tour places like the Adult Detention Center. You get to spend time with the chief of police or with superintendents of schools and those things, and hear directly from them why they do what they do, what their plans are for the organizations that they represent. And that's really it's just eye-opening, because everybody's got an opinion about everything. Who's willing to actually take the time to go out there and go educate you themselves and have those kind of shared experiences so that you can come to some level of understanding where you're not playing guessing games anymore, and you've now made connections with people who work in those areas, just like
Right.
you said, who are working outside of your, what your, kind of your expertise is on. Now you have this ability to reach out all over the place and get firsthand knowledge. It's funny to me, like even just thinking about social media, people that I've been in that class with, if I've seen them post something on Facebook, then I'm like, why wouldn't you just call me? Like you're on my phone.
Right.
Why take the time to post that on Facebook where you're just going to get a mob response and not just go directly to the people who may know? And I feel the same way about those people. Like if I've got a question about your industry, I'm not going to go throw it out there to the millions of people. I'm going to go to you. I'm like, call you. That saves me a lot of time. And that's, and I've told folks, for me, the education is great that you take out of it, but the networking part of it and the camaraderie you take out of it too that's really what was supreme.
No, I completely agree. Where else are you going to get to meet the CEO of the hospital? Jason Rounds was in my class.
Yeah.
I see him in town, and
And he knows you.
and he knows me, right? How cool is that?
Yeah.
And just we can, like you said earlier, Mayor, we have experiences that we shared, we can talk about for the rest of our lives.
How cool is that, though, that like CEOs of hospitals?
Yeah.
And
Right.
by the way, that speaks volumes about the community that we live in.
Yes.
Because I don't think you'd find that in many other communities, certainly not our size.
Oh, yeah.
There's another program called Leadership New Mexico where you'll get some of those CEOs I can see, but to do the one that's here, where you're walking and going to the grocery store, you're dropping kids off at the same place that everybody else is, that to me speaks a lot about our community's character, especially on the leadership level.
Absolutely.
It's an interesting program. I do want to make sure that we kind of phrase this. If I had the opportunity that neither one of you have had, Dr. Henderson, who was the founder of this with Marge Black and a number of other individuals, Nancy Shepard, who's still, Marge and Nancy both still operating this awesome program.
Yeah.
But Dr. Henderson, with them, he had a vision, and if you got to spend time with Doc, I actually have on my Instagram one of his sayings, and that is, if you have a heartbeat, you can serve. if you're alive, there's something that you can do to make somebody else's day or to make the world a better place. And I believe a lot in service. We talk about it all the time. And Dr. Henderson was one of those who was very inspirational to me. Mm-hmm. And it's great to me to go to San Juan College and see the bench and see him sitting there and just think about conversations that he had with so many people across this state about his vision for making San Juan County the strongest county it could be. San Juan College, an institution unlike any other. And the way I believe that, the kind of person I want to be in my positions, I want to bring people with me, and I want to be inspirational like that because I want us to carry that torch on. And if it's up to me, but now it's up to us kind of thing. And that's what I think I'm looking for in Leadership San Juan, kind of gives you that kind of area to kind of grow that.
Mm-hmm. It does.
Sonny, you're on the curriculum committee now. So typically after you've gone through the class, there's opportunities for people to work within the organization itself. Mm-hmm. And the curriculum committee, Colby also on the curriculum committee. I served once upon a time on the curriculum committee. Talk about that. What is that like?
Yeah, so after you graduate, typically the curriculum committee throughout the year, as we're helping, put together the days, we're also observing the class, observing the students, and watching them grow and learn about their community and just watching them how they're interacting with each other and interacting with the community and with other leaders. And so from each class, we'll pick someone to take our place, and it's a 2-year commitment. My 2 years will be done. I graduated in 2024, so I'm on the curriculum committee for 2025 through 2026. And so I will be, leaving the committee, but I will be choosing someone from this next class to, come and help Colby as he's going into his second year. And that's just another way for them to continue helping and lead throughout their Leadership San Juan. And then that's just one way. Things are going to be changing a little bit here in the next couple of years. That'll all be explained later on. But there's always ways to connect and grow and help in Leadership San Juan. And we have socials twice a year. We have a breakfast in June. We have a newsletter that comes out every month. And there's social media you could follow. There's all kinds of ways you could get involved.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Yeah.
No, a lot of opportunities to work within there. And then, are you on the alumni board? You're both on the alumni board?
No, I'm not.
No. Sonny's on the alumni board.
I am on the alumni board.
Yep.
And then hopefully, once you've done your 2 years on the curriculum committee, hopefully you'll be voted in on the Leadership San Juan board.
Right. Yes. Which I've had the opportunity to serve on now for, I think I'm maybe 10 years in.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've enjoyed it. And it just, again, it gives me an opportunity to advocate for my community and advocate with people that I see who have, potential in them where I go, hey, you know what you should do? You should sign up for Leadership San Juan.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why should I do that? Well, because you love this community. And I think if you had the education and background to understand it on a fuller level, like you would really be dynamic. Because what I see for those who've graduated from it, there's a responsibility, and we talk about this. There's a responsibility placed in you. And when we do the interviews, we say, we're going to give you this bit of information, this knowledge. What are you going to do with it once you have it? Mm-hmm. And what we're looking for is how are you going to give it back? And on a state level, I just see, with the number, I think we're 5. How many people have graduated out of there? We're
800 or so.
Are we 800 now? Mm-hmm. People graduate from that? 800 people who've been trained through that same program now are able to have conversations with people across this state or wherever they're at and reflect on what makes San Juan County strong, and then maybe tie something in with, say, hey, you know what, you're talking to somebody in Albuquerque, you're talking to somebody in Hobbs or Carlsbad, like, you know what, that's something maybe you guys should look at in San Juan County, or you're taking a trip to Phoenix and you're, whatever you may be doing within your organization, but trying to connect people, enterprise, industry, economy, those things to this area. Now you've got 800 people who can, do that at some level.
Right.
And
growing.
And growing.
Yeah, 36 years. This newest class that we have right now, they'll be the 36th graduating class. Pretty exciting.
That is exciting.
Yeah.
I'm proud to be a part of it. People ask, like, why are you talking about Leadership San Juan on here? Because typically we don't have other we would literally have every organization from this community on the show.
There's a lot of them.
we do have an interest, though, in promoting leadership and education. So it ties in with what, kind of my mission as an elected official is. There's a lot of things that when I'm talking, to the public of things that are going on, it's a lot about educating.
Absolutely.
And if you take your own steps and go out there and educate yourself on it, and this program provides that for you, think how much more knowledgeable you would be for your friends, for your family, for your neighborhood, for your people you work with. Now, you could be kind of a center post and working within that, as a servant leader, which we discuss all the time. Servant leadership works anywhere within any organization.
Absolutely.
But education is key. Yeah.
It is.
Very important.
It is.
Yeah. Colby, how can someone apply to Leadership San Juan?
Sure. So every year in the spring, they're on the Leadership San Juan website. You can apply to be a part of Leadership San Juan, right? So it's on the Leadership San Juan website. I believe it's April or so.
And interviews are in May.
Interviews are in May.
Yep.
And again, it's selective, right? We look through who applied, and there are interviews, and board members and members of the curriculum committee sit on those. And then you find out over the summer, and then your year kicks off. So it's a August through May commitment. It's not a light commitment. So when you apply, just know, plan on not missing any of the days. So there's the 3-day retreat in September, and then it's one Friday a month. So it's a 8 to 5 kind of commitment. Of course, there's some extracurricular things. Sonny, you mentioned some of the alumni socials and some other things that you get to be a part of, as well as group projects.
Yeah, I was going to have Sonny talk about that.
Yeah.
The group project part.
Sonny had a great group project.
Well, I want to reemphasize something you said.
Yeah.
And we reiterate this throughout the interview process. It is not a, half-hearted commitment. We really want you to be there for it and for you to graduate from it. I think it's the maximum hours you can miss is 16 hours of class time. So if you're looking at this opportunity, just think about what your Fridays look like and think about where you're at in your life right now and things that may be going on, and determine whether or not you can make that Friday. Again, one Friday a month. That's not that much. But one of the coolest parts about it is the groups and the group projects, and you spend a lot of time working on this project with your groups. But Sonny, what was your group project?
So my group project was it was called Charging Forward, and what it was working with the San Juan County Detention Center in creating a what essentially is a reentry type program. We started very, very small. We have limited resources with Leadership San Juan, but so we had to start small. $500.
$500 per group.
Yep.
So limited resources, but we saw the need with a forgotten population, vulnerable and forgotten. And so we created a resource wall. One of the things we created was a resource wall of all these pamphlets, all this information of what someone coming out of the detention center might see on their release of conditions, their probation requirements, their court requirements that they're given upon release. And sometimes these requirements are very, very vague. Sometimes their papers are very small. They're lost on the way out, and they're just lost. And so from leaving that front door to the parking lot, sometimes they don't know. They get mixed up. They don't know where to go. What people might not know is there's 5 different probations in the area. They're in Aztec, they're in Farmington, there's 2 in Farmington, there's 3 in Aztec, and if you don't know what type of probation and you end up in the wrong place, then you're automatically going to probably get a PV, which is a probation violation. So our thought is, let's give them this information right away.
Right.
As much information to try to give them the opportunity. The other thing we did was we created a video to give them the process of what to do when you get out.
How to manage it,
explaining these types of probation, explaining exactly where to go, explaining the process of how to get a public defender, explaining where to go for resources. Back then it was called the Mental Wellness Resource Center. Right now it's called the Community Campus Navigation Center. And it was just a video explaining what's available in the community specific to their needs. We also got a charging station donated by a former detainee who had that opportunity, who had the support by people when he was released. And so we created these with limited resources. We were given that $500 to start, and we actually had everything donated to us at the very end, and so we didn't need that $500. So we donated it back to San Juan Leadership for the next class to use. Since then, this has grown into a program that was taken over by the county, and it's grown, and it's been a success, and it's been amazing to watch this little project idea just become something in the community, and it's been great.
I love it.
Yeah.
Colby, what was yours?
So my project geared around the Riverside Nature Center in Farmington, and if you're familiar with the area, it's been overgrown in the last few years since after COVID, right? And so our group identified this project, and it was easy, right? Let's take care of this garden. We're gonna pull the weeds. We're gonna plant some new plants and bushes, and it's gonna look beautiful. Well, that's what's beautiful about these group projects is, and they told us at the beginning, whether you listen or not, it happens. Your project will change a little bit, right? It's designed that way. And so our project went from a very manual, task-focused goal, right? Replanting plants and doing those kinds of things, to a relationship-building type of exercise. So we did end up having a few work days of cleanup days, and we had some donations, and we got people out there with their rakes and their shovels and their gloves, and that was really good to see. But we realized there were two groups that actually needed to work together again. Is the City of Farmington, right? We have our Parks and Rec department, which we have manpower, we have the staff and the equipment needed. But you had the Friends of the Nature Center group who had the compassion for it, the care, and also some of the expertise for some of these very delicate plants in the area. And over time, these two groups kind of became disjointed, and there was lack of communication. It happens. It happens.
Right.
And so about halfway in our project, we figured this out, and we're like, we got to start back from square one. And so we started attending the Friends of the Nature Center board meetings. We started spending some time with them. We also had partnerships with the City of Farmington. And so we slowly started working on those relationships. And ultimately, we did get the area cleaned up quite a bit, certainly not what we had expected at the very beginning, but we were able to pass it back on to the City of Farmington, but with a better, oh my gosh, I'm going to freeze right there.
A partnership, better partnership between the user groups and the expertise groups and the city that's maintaining it. Yeah.
Well said, thank you.
Yeah.
And today I got to meet our newest director of the Nature Center, who I didn't have to say anything. He was already talking about working with the Friends of the Nature Center group and working towards some of the goals that we established. So even though we didn't get to see the end result of that, we know it's underway, and we're excited about that.
So my group, we put together a mentoring program for high learners we started at Farmington High School, putting them in positions with, whatever their interests were. We were connecting them with mentors in that field, and they would spend, I think it was like a 6-week program with those individuals, and at the end of the 6-week program, they had to provide a report. They had to do a video. They had to do something to talk about what that experience was. And we handed that off. Taya Camacho, who wasn't a part of our group, but she was, we had recruited her in basically, and she kind of took it for a while. It's no longer existing. So I want to talk about that. One of the things within the groups is kind of what Sonny's, the genuine overscope here. You're putting these people with all these different personality traits together into this group, and there's going to be rocky roads, but that's the point of it. The point of it is, how do we find a way to work together? Because everything that we do in life requires partnerships. It requires relationships.
It does.
I can tell you, I don't know who I would be in this world if I hadn't surrounded myself or reached out and made connections with people who made me better. It would be a different place, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of the point of that whole process, is to teach you that. If you haven't ever experienced it before, this is a great place to do it. But they want the project ultimately to be something that can have longevity to it, right? So you will get everything from kind of what your program is, which I can imagine that the individuals who had no idea about what reentry was, just the education the people in your group got, and then you got to present that to your class to say, this is what we're doing, and here's the outcome. And now they're educated on that. Colby, same thing here. People, what is the Nature Center? I mean, many people have probably never even been down to the Nature Center, didn't even know we had one.
Right.
Didn't know there was a Friends of the Nature Center. I mean, that kind of thing. And now we've opened up eyes, and you've created interest in folks to say, oh my gosh, look at this cool thing that we have going on in the city I didn't even know about.
Yeah.
But it could be there are projects, like we've seen projects at Child Haven and other places that we're going to paint the building, we're going to go get furniture donated for this, we're going to do those things. Or it's programs that kind of carry forward and have a life of their own. And I wish I had a list of all the projects, because there are some that have grown out of it. They're still going on today. They've been around for decades, but it started from a Leadership San Juan project. Maybe do you guys know?
Well, I can get you a list if you'd like
Right.
a list.
And we share the list with the incoming class every
Right.
year as well.
I just wish I had it off
Yes.
for our audience to see. You Matter. You Matter came
You
out.
Matter,
Thank you,
yeah.
Greg. You Matter came out of a Leadership San Juan project.
Yeah.
And now that's, we've got
It's amazing.
30 high school seniors, something to that are walking around the county telling stories to our kids, life stories, life-changing stories to communicate that, hey, you're not alone. Like my story, I want my story to resonate with somebody in this room, because it's that important, and that person's going to go, oh my gosh, I didn't realize that other people were going through the same thing. How that connection and that acknowledgement is really, really important. So we've had You Matter on here as well. But I think that if you were somebody really looking at, I want to live here, I want to invest here, I want to grow here, I want to find a place where I can serve, I want to meet new people that I can connect with who are like-minded in that aspect. I don't know if there's a better program than Leadership San Juan, honestly.
No.
Oh, yeah.
It's perfect for that, Mayor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and having, I've been doing interviews. I get to interview the incoming class every year, and it's, typically, Nancy talks about this a lot. We're trying to put a class together that is representative. It's a sample population of what the makeup is of our community, and we're looking for that across, your careers that you are. We're looking at that across whatever social place you're at, whatever your background may be culturally. Like, we're trying to piece this all together to make the class as complete, I think, and well-rounded. So it's not just this one-sided kind of component.
Sure.
You're bringing a lot of people to the table who have a lot of opinions and ideas, and it's pretty special.
It's a pretty special program, and I know I'm proud to be part of it.
It is, and it's an affordable program. If you look at other programs similar to this, it's affordable. It's
Right.
Other programs are thousands of dollars.
Sure.
And this one is not.
And we've really worked hard to find ways to keep the costs of that down, and we've got some fundraisers that we've implemented, and so yes, it's $700. I think is $750, I believe, and there are scholarships available.
Yes,
there are.
Because we do raise money for those things, and a lot of organizations will fund their employees to go
Right.
go and take advantage of it. But I will say this: being on the interview committee for so many years, we're looking for people who want to do it. If you're telling me that your boss told you that you have to do it, you're probably not there for the right reasons.
No.
The people we want are people, like I said, they're invested in this community. They want to advocate for this community. They want to become more knowledgeable about the things that they don't understand. But they want to use that information for good, in order to promote us and grow us. And I think if you look at around the state, so just where we're at in 2025, and Colby, you touring around the state, Sonny, I'm sure you've been all over it, but we're different up here. Like, I really feel like the energy up here is different.
Completely.
The upside, the way people are looking at what the future looks like for us is very different. Certainly in a community that's only 46,000 people, and there's a lot of reasons for that. But Leadership San Juan, I think, is kind of one of those underlying fabric components that, that keeps it moving in that direction.
No,
because
I agree.
if you're not growing, you're dying. And if we're not serving each other, then we're not living up to what our responsibility is as, as citizens and community people.
No.
Do we miss anything?
I don't think so, Mayor. If I had to give anyone advice that, thought about joining a program like this, I would just tell them to try to stay open-minded, right? We talked about you learn and meet a lot of different people. You're introduced to a lot of new topics that you're not used to. each of the 10 days are geared towards something specific. We just had Education Day. We have Government Day, all these different opportunities. Keep an open mind. Don't just stay in your shell. Sonny, I thought you did an amazing job in your class and getting to hear about your story. It's transforming for a lot of different people, and I think that's why they were open-minded.
Yeah, I think that's very important. And I would advise people in most situations that you're unfamiliar with to go in open-minded and be there. One of the key terms it's always stuck with me is seek to understand instead of be understood. Use your ears, just listen and see what's going on before you decide to interject your personal thoughts and ideas on things, because it's really important, especially when you want to grow kind of camaraderie and a teamwork environment.
Yeah.
Sonny, any final words on that?
I would say if, it's your community, and if you want to be involved, no matter who you are, if you're outgoing, extroverted, introverted, we want you. I am very introverted and I love it, but I love my community also, and so that's why I'm so involved in it. And just get involved, and we will help you. We will welcome you, and I think Leadership San Juan is going to be right for you. So I think it's a great program.
I agree, and I will end my thought on this. Really, to run for elected office, my decision to do that came out of Leadership San Juan. I don't know if I would have done this if it hadn't been for that motivation that came with having the knowledge, and then the call to action that's really laid out there to say, what are you going to do with it? And one of the requirements within the program is you attend city council meetings, county commission meetings, those kind of things to expose yourself to the government or different things that are going on. And that's where I started. I started going to city council meetings, and I was like, well, this is interesting. Could I be a part of this? Is this, could I be effective in this? Could I be somebody who can make a positive difference? And it was because I went in the program. That's the only reason I went to city council meetings. Wow. So very eye-opening. And again, I just encourage people, if you're a part of this community and you love what's happening here, or maybe you have questions about what's happening here. I mean, you don't have to like everything that's going on in your community. I mean, there's always opportunities for us to grow and to get better. Leadership San Juan, I think, gives you a background that you can kind of base those arguments from, so to speak. You come in and you learn a little bit more so that you can have something in that basket that you're carrying. So when you're out there talking with folks, you can support it. But I encourage you to check it out. It is on the San Juan College website under Leadership San Juan. You can just Google that. It'll bring up a lot of information for you. But if you catch any of us on the street and you've got questions, I know we're always here to talk about that and many other things. But yeah, anything else? All right.
No, we hope you apply.
Hope you apply. Yes. So applications are in April. We hope you enjoyed this segment of the Mayor's Table. Leadership San Juan's been around for 36 years.
36 years.
So it's got a good foundation. Good things are happening from it, and we hope you would like to be a part of it. We'll see you next time right here on the Mayor's Table.